What's up, everyone? This is Anthwon Thomas back again with another episode of the High Value Agent Podcast, where we inspire people to create a better life through real estate. And I'm pumped for today, y'all. Y'all have no idea. My guy joining me today, Mike Benton. Mike, how are you doing, brother?
I'm doing great, man. Happy New Year. Great to be on.
Yeah, Happy New Year, my brother. I want to real quickly, if you're okay with it, I want to give everyone a reason why they should listen to this podcast from start to finish. Is that okay?
100%, man.
Cool. Let's get it. So, Mike Benton, been in the real estate game, the mortgage banking business game for over 20 years. He has expertly managed over 250 single family home flips and developed a 120 unit apartment complex into condos a few years ago. But that's not even the best part about him, y'all. The reason why I got Mike on this pod today is because very quickly I learned that Mike Benton has the heart of contribution. From the get go, not only is Mike focused on his fitness, his family, his life, the growth of his business, but he's always willing to give back to others to see other people bloom, right? To see other people win at a high level. So I was like, you know what? I got to get Mike on the pod because he has a great perspective now that we're in 2025 that I want him to share with you guys. So what we're going to talk about today, we're going to dive into into his growth journey, from A to Z, the lessons that he's learned in 2024, the power of a positive team, and really building a culture of success and how to do that. And then further the core activities that really helped him in his business gain momentum from 2024 and now into 2025. So that's why you should stay on and listen to this from start to finish. So Mike, I'm gonna throw it to you, man. Let's unpack your story a little bit, and we can keep this part short because I do want to make sure we get into some high level conversation to really help people out there. If you're in the mortgage side of the business or an agent, we'll get into that. But give us a background on you, Mike. Upbringing, early life, school education. Like, who are you?
Yeah, man. Well, again, thanks for having me on. It's an honor. I grew up, interesting enough, I grew up in a town of about 9,000 people, South Boston, Virginia. I think the county had 50,000. I got pretty good at tennis when I was about 11, 12 years old. So by the time I
Okay.
was 15, kind of there's nobody else to play in town. So I had to move out of town. My dad's like, listen, if you want to play, Division One, that was my goal is to play Division One tennis. And he
Okay.
said, hey, like if you want to play Division One tennis, you got to get some better competition, right?
Yes.
Better mentors.
Yep.
And so he moved me. I was fortunate enough to live with a guy by the name of Tim Wilkison. He was top 20 in the world.
Mm.
So I moved in with him at 15 years old. Ended up playing competitively for the next 3 years, and went on a Division One scholarship to Coastal Carolina University, which is in Myrtle Beach. Which things tie together pretty quick. When we talk about our boy Preston, um,
Yes.
so I ended up getting my real estate license in 2004. So that's how long I've been in the business. So it's going on 21 years. I got into some real estate development in 2005, and probably like a lot of entrepreneurs, you have your ups and downs, and I
Hmm.
went hard and heavy from 2005 until thinking that the market could never stop. So once 2008, 2009 hit, there was some
Yep.
restructuring that needed to be done. So again, different person, different lifestyle at that time as well. So learned some tough lessons, but it's funny. I mentioned it on I was talking to a big real estate team of 60 plus agents this morning, and I said it's funny how the more things change, the more they stay the same. Because what do I do in 2008 and nine when literally, man, I went from $50 million net worth paper, right, to negative net worth, uh,
Mm.
like over seven figures in cash, multiple, to like next to no cash, trying to bail myself out, right? There was, my father-in-law said one time, $1 million problem is your problem, but like a 10, $50 million is the bank's problem. Well, so I wasn't like one of these huge developers that the bank was willing to bail out or the government was going to bail out. So I had to bail myself out. And how did I do that? I hit the phones, man. From 2008 to 2010, I averaged 80 homes by myself sold. Um,
Sheesh.
just cold calling, no leads,
Mm.
listing appointments, REOs, short sales. And my mom got sick in 2010, so we ended up moving from South Carolina to Fort Lauderdale. Started the same way, hitting the phones, cold calls, FISBOs, expireds, then started to get into some pay-per-click marketing, built
Okay.
up a team, met a gentleman who I think you met at Conversion Con, still one of my ex-partners, good, still one of my best friends today. And we started an investment company in 2015, and it was a fix and flip company, and we sold it in 2018. So we built it up, built some really solid processes and procedures, and built a system to buy and analyze a lot of properties in a short amount of time because we were buying a lot of auction properties. So
Mm.
during that time, he was in the mortgage business. So I started to kind of get licensed in 16 and talk to a lot of our realtor relationships who were sending us investment properties about the mortgage business and kind of as a business development role and started sending that to his team. And in 2018 decided to leave his team. And we had sold the company, and I was like, well, what am I going to do when I grow up now again? And that's when I went full mortgage banking. So it's 7 years that I've been in mortgage banking full time. And in that between 17 and 25, as you know, it's I mean we've gone from rates at 2% to 8%. So we've seen a lot of ups and downs, some big
Hmm.
highs and some low lows. But
Hmm.
since I had the experience of 2008 to 10 in real estate, it prepared me for the last 3 years in mortgage banking, which, we've seen the LO count go from 400,000 to 100,000. So it wasn't
Sheesh.
people were like, oh, this is harder than 08, 09. Well, everybody's version's all perception. And, that hard's not as hard as, what I went through in 08, 09. So it's just head down and grinding ever since.
That's so good, man. Y'all, if one of the things that I really enjoyed about what you just broke down was the fact that you had success, right? At an early time in your life, you made a commitment to master a craft. That was tennis. And with that came delayed gratification, right? So you learned the skill of delayed gratification. Through that, you were able to get a D1 scholarship, you played, and then now you were able to get into business. You built something incredible, and then you lost it.
Hmm.
And then you were able to rebuild it. And the reason I want you guys to understand this is why it stands out to me. Skills are something that nobody can ever take from you. You
So
can get
powerful.
you can get your car taken, you can get your house taken, you can get but the skills are what no one could take from you. He was able to build the skills up from an early age of discipline, of work ethic, of being consistent, of delayed gratification that allowed him to build something great, lose it, and then build something even better because he had the skills and he's learning more skills every single day. So, man, that's beautiful. Not the, I mean, we got to go through our journey because it's our journey, right? But it's beautiful for people to hear. If you're struggling right now, if you had a terrible 2024, just listen to what Mike is saying. Like, keep at it, keep pushing. You're building the skills necessary to have an incredible 2025. It's a
Yeah.
blessing. No, that
Our
was huge. Man.
experiences, right? Like our everything that we experience, we take with us. And
Yes.
people say, like, hey, we moved most recently, hopefully permanently, from Colorado to Sarasota in June of
Hmm.
23. And we did that because my daughter wasn't feeling like she was really thriving in Colorado. It was
Hmm.
post COVID. There was a lot of there wasn't a lot of like community and every because it was cold half the year, so it's hard to get out. And then also post COVID, people weren't getting together as much, and we had missed Florida, so we decided as a family we could move anywhere we wanted because of my skills. By the way, like I could literally plant myself in any market in the country and feel like, hey, I can get
Mm.
my income and my provide for my family at a really high level because I'd already done it in two different cities, two different markets, two different times. And basically within 12 months, I was closing 20 loans a month in a brand new city. And
Mm.
that's exactly from those experiences, right? Meaning what it takes to be successful or relationships and doing today's work today. There's not a magic pill that you can take, and there's no like shortcut either. But those
Mm,
experiences definitely, it's like a house, solid foundation, and you're block by
yeah.
block building it up.
That's huge, man. No, I honor you and I really appreciate that because again, huge for people to understand. Let's talk about like how did we meet, man? Because like you, man, you're doing big things, man. And I've been privileged and blessed to have met you, and you're now what I consider a friend. Not only a friend, you're a business partner, but more importantly, you're a friend, right? You're someone who, like, I believe I could trust. If I'm looking for support, some guidance, I can come talk to you about it. We text, we talk multiple times a week. But Mike, how did we connect, man? And what are you doing now in over the past like year or so? Like what are you doing?
Well, man, it's you know, I so it brings me to part of my story, which I think, like, again, thank you for building me up and making me feel good because obviously I've done some cool stuff, but also I will say that, we've heard it many times from in the rooms that we're in, which is what's the one thing that will change
Mhm.
everything for you and your family that you can change, right? That'll change
Yeah.
everything. And, I got into the rooms that where we met, which was through John Cheplack's rooms and Preston Guyton's rooms. And in January of 2023, I believe, is the first time. So I was in a room and I heard John say it, maybe for the second time, of what's that one thing? Well, oh, you got a Division I scholarship. That's cool. Well, it was to Coastal Carolina. My true passion was to go to North Carolina, where my parents went and where my dad had played JV basketball. And man, I just love the Tar Heels to this day. And people say, oh, well, you weren't good enough or what happened? Well, that one thing that has always kind of held me back, and I share it because if I can help just one person, make a change that's worth it for me to be vulnerable. Of
Yeah.
It was alcohol, right? Like the
Mm,
minute I removed alcohol from my life and my daily life, and I'd struggled with it for 20 years before in high school. What made me? I was a good tennis player. Yeah, I was top five in the state of Virginia, but I could have been probably maybe with the same work ethic, top five in the country. But that
mhm.
was kind of holding me back. Same thing in business. Oh, it's cool you have these successes, but what could you have done differently? Well, the one thing I could have done is never touch that poison. And that's what I call it. Listen, somebody wants to have a beer, God bless you. Like if you can do it, John says it from stage every now and again, like
Yeah.
alcoholics have the best stories. Man, I got more stories to last a lifetime. And if you can do it, that's great. But for me, it's the one thing that started to change everything. And so
Mm,
Preston Guyton and I have been friends for 20 years from Myrtle Beach. We met when we were in the, same real estate market, and we became friends. We stayed in touch through Facebook. And in 20 and 21, I saw what he was doing. I reached out and continued the relationship, and one thing led to the next. And John, Preston, and I decided in the spring of last year in 24, we were going to launch a mortgage company. So we launched
yes.
Responsive Mortgage, and basically in the spring of 24, and today with partners like you and great people, we're continuing to grow. But you hit the nail on the head. It's all about the people, man,
Mhm.
and people move the money, right? And it's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of work, and we continue to learn and try to do better. And here we are trying to grow in 25.
Yes, I love that. Yes. When and shout out to Preston, good people. Shout out to John Cheplack. That whole I consider it a family, right?
100%. Yeah, it's
It
like a tribe. Seth
it's
Godin
a
says it,
tribe.
right? Build a tribe. And
Yep.
again, whether you say tribe, family, right? We're talking the same language.
Yep.
I've
Yep.
been in, some different coaching groups, Tony Robbins, Southwest Consulting, um, Mike Ferry back in the day, Tom Ferry,
Mhm.
but all those organizations I've been a part of at some point in my career. There's never been an organization forget the responsive mortgage piece, the piece of changing people's lives and impacting
Mm.
people's lives. A lot of people talk about it, but between John, Preston, and Alec, they saved my family. So it's like, hey, what everything else I say is bonus at this point.
Yeah.
We're playing with house money, Now, I'm not
Yeah.
trying to give it all even more because of that, 100%. But what a lot of people are phony behind the microphone. They're phony behind the what they present online. But there's not one bit of that. Everything is authentic, and they're
Hmm.
executing. And I've seen it time and time again in what they're doing. I mean, Alex's business and Shannon's business is, I think, the best one of all of John's, to be honest, because it's
Yeah.
truly changing you.
Mhm.
I think
Yep.
you're even part of it now.
I'm 100%. Shout out to Alec and Shannon. Uh, I one man, Mike, dude, this is great. Let I want to talk about like reflecting on 2024. Everything that you just said, right, is very important to make sure you're in the right rooms. Like I said this earlier today at the team meeting. I said, if you want to feel better, blame other people for your problems. If you want to get better, blame yourself. And one of the things that I appreciate about you and in the team that in the family and the tribe that we are a part of is the fact that we take personal responsibility for our outcomes because we understand by doing that, that allows us to grow. That then allows us to grow. We're able to identify the gap, and in that gap, we can see where we need to go. And then we have those people like the Prestons, like the Mike Bentons, like Alec and Shannon, who are leading by example,
Mm.
right? And I want to honor that. So let's unpack like so we talked about where you came from. We talked about the transition from, being able to overcome the struggle with the alcohol to now being in a position to where we are. Shout out to our people at Responsive. What is being built is incredible. Let's talk about the power of a positive culture. Like,
Mm.
how are you? How have you been able to build out something? And again, this is a collective thing, right? But it
Oh
has to
yeah.
start with someone or a couple of people. How are you building out this such positive, powerful culture that's generating success?
I mean, it's a great question, and it's something that I ignored in my previous couple businesses was the power of culture. And
Yes.
I guess you can't lead others if you're not leading yourself, right?
Mm,
So going back to your health and fitness and how you eat, and a lot of people, I would challenge anyone to say, you start making those changes in your life, whether it's a food addiction, an alcohol addiction, a drug addiction, you make those changes, and I can pretty much guarantee your income doubles, and the people you surround yourself with, the
yes.
level of frequency that they operate on are just a different level, and your life
Hmm.
will just dramatically improve just by doing those things. And people overcomplicate what it takes, but I've really focused on making sure that the folks that are aligned, partner with us, align with us, work with us day to day, that they share a lot of those similar values. Do they have to be like, let's say, recovering from something? Of course not, right? Like, everybody doesn't have the same problems, but
Hmm.
typically, if things are going wrong, we want to create that environment of continuous improvement, of doing things with excellence.
Hmm.
My wife always said, how you do anything is how you do everything. She's always said that. She's always been excellent, by the
Yes.
way. And that
Yes.
goes back to like this, having, what makes someone successful, right? Do they have the right environment? Do they have a spouse that really understands what it takes to build a big business? Because there's a lot of sacrifice involved.
Mhm.
There's, you know, 5 a.m. text messages, there's 9 p.m. phone calls, right? You know this, Antoine. Building any
Mhm.
business, it's everybody sees the after, they don't see the 100+ hours, and it's not work if you love what you do. And I mean that. I
Mhm.
totally understand that, like, sometimes even the greatest leaders get stressed, and things happen. But in general, it's like almost a game. It's so
Yeah.
fun, and
Yeah.
we're attracting people that understand, and we're very honest with them about what it takes to be successful in this market. And the same thing it takes to be successful at Responsive is you can do those same things at any other mortgage company too, by the way.
Mhm.
um, because but some of the things that we're instilling into the team, like, I will say one of the biggest needle movers of our business today is the morning huddle.
Yeah.
And even I underestimated that. I was like, yeah, it's cool, I want to implement it. I've heard so many team leaders in real estate implement it.
Mhm.
But until you implement something and you experience it, and then you see the buy-in from the team. I mean, I will say that I think our adoption rate or show rate to those calls probably 90+%, and that
Wow.
tells me, hey,
Awesome.
people are valuing what the information, the collaboration, the expectation, the welcoming nature when someone comes onto the team. They're
Yes.
being introduced. They have all the support of teams, whether they're in Indiana or Florida or California or wherever they are in the country. We want
Mhm.
them to feel like one mission, one team, and doesn't matter where that bar is, where that loan is, where that realtor is. They get that same level of service, and
Mhm.
the collective genius. The more we grow, the more smart minds that are coming into mortgage with us to figure out complex problems. So I
So
think
good.
it's, and then I'd say lastly for me in regards to the team side is the power of prayer.
Mm.
I will say in June, I made some tough decisions. I think it was maybe May or June. Don't quote me on the exact month, but I deselected from some folks that I felt like weren't serving. Great people, by the way, nothing against these people, but maybe weren't aligned with what I was trying to do
Mm.
and what I was trying to build. And I said, I just said a simple prayer: God, put into my life the folks who will, see the vision, partner with us, have a servant leadership approach, but also want to build something really, really great. And
Yes.
I've been very transparent with everybody of, hey, this is going to be hard work. Asta, for example, right? Asta, and bringing somebody like that who is, maybe saying a prayer for me before I go into a big meeting or I'm nervous about something. Um, I think it's something that people are afraid to talk about in business. Um,
Mhm.
I'm not afraid to talk about it because I've been even more vocal about it the last 60 days because I think if you put Jesus first, everything else will take care of itself. And
Yes.
man, I sit so far away from the foot of the cross. I'm just trying to get a little bit closer,
Yeah.
every day.
Mhm.
But if you put that first, everything else will take care of itself.
Yes. What
That's
it
and we're attracting those type of people. Again, does it mean everybody's? We're not on the morning huddle praying, although we probably should be every now and again. But you just seem to attract these people that have faith in their life. They believe in something bigger than themselves. Again, it doesn't have to be Christianity, it could be Judaism,
Yep.
just a something bigger than ourselves, right? And
Yep.
that's what business is. We're building something bigger than ourselves
Mhm.
that will
So
serve the
good.
greater good. So it's been a lot of fun, man.
Dude, man, so much to unpack. Like I can unfortunately, y'all, we don't have a whole 24 hours to unpack that, but that was so much valuable information. What I really liked was, and I think I said it earlier when we started the podcast, fitness, family, faith, right? Prayer is something that we do in our huddle every morning.
Wow.
Yeah, it's we do it every morning, and we do it multiple times a day because we have multiple huddles throughout the day for our real estate team. So it's a beautiful thing to make sure that again, are you very clear on your principles, on your values? Because if you are, and you're exemplifying those, then you attract similar people, right? That want to align with something like that. And Mike is doing that, right? He attracted, him and the people that he is involved with as far as a tribe, right? That was what attracted me to want to be partners with them, and more importantly, again, be brothers, right?
Mhm.
Be sister brother with these people, because I believe that if you want to go far in anything, if you really want to do something at a high level, you got to have high level people around you to do it. Otherwise, you're probably going to be stuck, right? I think I said this earlier today too. I know people have said that you are the average of the five people you surround yourself with. I actually think you become more like the people you try to impress. Like
Mm.
for example, if Mike, if you can't see him right now, like all the way, but Mike is in great shape, like incredible shape, right? And a lot of the people, most people that are in this tribe that we're talking about are making health a number one priority, which is why That's what I'm working on for myself. That's been my problem, is putting my health first. And that's why I hired coaches to help me hold me accountable to making sure I'm putting the right food in my body, make sure I'm staying hydrated, I'm staying on my workouts, because I see Mike, I see some of these other people, and I want to impress them with my health. Not in a way to where like I need their approval, but it's like I know if I'm trying to impress these people that are doing or have the thing that I want, I'm going to become more like them. Does that make
Mhm.
sense?
Oh yeah.
So beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Um, let's let's share. Let's get this has been great. I want to talk about what's the biggest failure that we've had. Like, what's one that you can think of? And I have tons. Uh,
Oh
but
man,
like, yeah,
in recent history, like 24 or like,
24. Yes.
oh man, I think it's, allowing, I think, as a leader, and if you have other leaders that you're leading, you really feel like you want to empower them to make good decisions for their business.
Hmm.
And I think it's giving too much rope, right? Like, and oftentimes if you give someone that you feel like has the ability to execute at a high level, but you give them too much rope, they hang themselves, right?
Mm.
So hindsight being 2020, this year I'm gonna pull the rope back a little bit, right? Tighten the rope, not in a
Hmm.
micromanagement way, but in a way where, um, what is it? Matt says it often: be clear as kind, and
Clarity
being
is
able,
kindness.
clarity is kindness, right? So
Yes.
me tightening up that rope, I think is kindness to them. It's not that
Hmm.
faith. It's just I think that running a business in this market looks a little bit differently than running a business than it did like 2 to 4 years ago. The same
Hmm.
decisions that worked in 21, 22 are probably not going to work in 25. And we have a model that's working. So either kind of get on our bus, kind of do it a little bit closer to the way we want it done, or maybe we might not have to, you might have to, deselect or let them
Yes.
kind of edge them way. I never want to lose anybody, but, at the same time, it'll eventually have to happen in our business, right? People come in different seasons,
Yep.
and I will say that's my biggest learning lesson, right? Too much rope, and
Yep.
25 to correct. And I'm not going to try to overcorrect, but
Right.
my
Right.
goal is to just tighten up that rope a little bit,
Yep. That's
and
so
hopefully
good.
that'll serve us better.
That's good. I have one of my failures is that very similar. My biggest one, looking back over 2024, knowing what I know now, what I would do different would be extremely. I My principles are non-negotiable. My principles are what my principles are: personal responsibility, commitment, accountability, contribution. Being more dialed in and making my decisions based on my four principles, very similar to what you said, I would not have allowed certain people within the organization to stay longer than they needed to, right?
Mm,
I would have made sure that our culture, our positive culture that we're building of high level thinkers and performers, it stayed potent instead of
hmm
allowing the bad apple to come. And then me having a mindset that I can change them. No, I could facilitate change. I can't change them. I could
mm.
facilitate the best condition for them to make the decision to change and be successful. I can't do the work for them. But I feel like I just hold on for too long.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I can get, maybe I could say something different, better, that's going to, and it doesn't work that way, right? But if I could just stay true to my principles, which in 2025, I'm like you, like I'm locked in, I'm dialed in, I'm getting my health dialed in, I'm getting my mindset. I just came back from a 2 week vacation, so I'm calm, I'm relaxed, I'm excited, I'm certain, and I'm gonna just hold true to the principles. And I think that lesson in 2024 will carry me through 2025. So
Oh man, you're on the come up, man. Like, never worked with a team that is so principle based. So if you did stray away from it, it's not being noticed in the public eye. I can tell you that, because your whole team's ability to serve, and um, again, that customer service and the customer first attitude shows up in everything. And just, I know 2025 is going to be an amazing year.
Yes.
It's not what the market does, it's what we do in the market, right?
Hmm.
We dictate the market doesn't dictate us. It's
Facts.
it's all activities, man. It's, we can't change outcomes, we can change our activities.
Hmm.
And that's one thing I've always been pretty good at, is just, I'm a grinder, man. And, can I get more tactical and better? 100%. But from a
Yes.
work ethic standpoint, we're attracting people that have a shovel and a pick and put their work boots on and go to work. Because
Yeah.
this, like, sit in your ivory tower and, tell people what to do. No, like, show them power
Yes.
hours, Monday through Thursday, every night, 6 to 7 East Coast.
Hmm.
I'm on the phone with them, man. So, and I like it. So it's
Yeah.
fun. We get some victories together. We're going to continue
Hmm.
to build a culture of activity and contribution and continuous improvement and excellence. And if we do that, we'll continue to attract the right people. And
Hmm.
like you said, we'll hold each other accountable to staying true to our core values and the relationships and honoring those.
I love it, man. Action breeds winners. Excuses breeds losers. We got to be
Fact.
around people that want to take action. So beautiful, brother. Well, I know that Mike's super busy, so I don't want to keep him too long. But for people, Mike, that they want to learn more about your story, or maybe they have questions about getting into the mortgage space and they want to, get some coaching from you or some support from you, just ask you some questions, or maybe they're already in mortgage, or maybe they're an agent, right? How
Sure.
could people reach out to you and connect with you?
Yeah, I think a great way is Facebook, like Mike G. Benton, and Instagram, Mike G. Benton. So those are my handles, and then responsivemortgage.com. Uh,
Yes.
those three places. So at Mike G. Benton, both on Instagram and Facebook. You could DM me, or website has my email, phone number. I mean, I'm talking to someone in the mortgage brokerage space tomorrow that has nothing, no willingness to work with responsive mortgage, just wants to figure out what we're doing recruiting wise, and
Hmm.
happy to give everybody the secrets. There are no secrets. It's just doing today's work today and being good to folks. And what's meant to be is will be, and putting it in God's hands. That's what
Hmm.
truly matters.
Absolutely. Well, brother, I appreciate you. Thank you for your time, man. I know for a fact this was valuable. Like, I mean, this is one y'all that y'all listen to weekly. This one. So I want to honor you, Mike. Thank you for your time, brother. I appreciate our friendship, our brotherhood, our business partnership, and look forward to continuing the growth with you in 2025 and other people. So thank you for your time, brother.
You as well, 100%.
All right, y'all. Hey, y'all know where to find me. Obviously, come on now. Facebook, social media, hit me up. I'm always here to support. And again, I told y'all I'm going to continue to bring the fire. So continue to tune in. I'm going to continue to bring high level thinkers and bring in perspective to help you grow. That's our commitment, is to give back to the community, help inspire and create change through real estate. So again, appreciate you guys. Mike, take care, brother. We'll talk soon. Peace.